I think the best place to find a lot of people very quickly is to basically go to the angel networks. Yeah, I mean, the very fact that somebody's watching this video means to say they've got onto an angel network site. There's a good society called the British Business Angels Association, and they have a large list of people who invest, angel investor networks. So I think it's a very good idea, basically, to get your proposition in front of as many people as you possibly can. Having said that, it's really important to make sure that you know that your proposition is pretty well polished by the time that you spend your effort looking for these people, because otherwise you're just basically going to end up being a busy fool. So I think if you're fairly new to this game, the important thing is to find somebody who's either a mentor or an investor who really likes the proposition, or somebody who you can basically just ask to meet up for a coffee and show them your proposition and ask them what they'd do in your shoes. And so long as you've got a nice kind of person who's willing to spend 45 minutes with you, then give them a really damn good listening to and find out all the things about your proposition that need to be fixed. And if you get on well, the chances are he or she will pass you on to 2 or 3 people who may know some other people who might be interested in helping, investing, whatever. And the name of the game is to network like mad. You will have a proposition which will be a particular type of proposition for a particular type of either investment, corporate, or set of angels. The institutions are very good at saying, why don't you speak to Jonathan, because they're in the high-tech space, or they're in the entertainment space, or they're in the startup space. And before you know it, you've got a list of 10 people who are in that kind of space who you start speaking to, and you get into some sort of relationship or rapport with, and then they introduce you to other people. I'd recommend going to quite a few networking events and finding out, essentially, because you've got to kiss a lot of handsome toads before you find your prince, basically. And it's worth asking them some questions, like how many investors will be there, and getting them to be really honest, so that there's an expectation that you have that they've got to deliver, basically. You may well find that there's a particular investment network which is in your area, like Swain, Southwest Angel Investment Network, which I think is very good. There's TVIN, which is the Thames Valley Investment Network. If you've got a specialist arts style investment, then there's Kane, which is Creative Arts Investment Network. And then, clearly there's See My Pitch, which is an excellent network. I found AIN, Angel Investment Network, very good. So there's a range of good networks, and I'd suck them and see, basically. Inevitably there'll be sort of small bits of fees. There's sort of £100 or so for a pitching fee. That seems fine to me. And the other thing you probably need to spend money on is a proposal. I wouldn't really recommend spending any more money than that, frankly. Partly because you don't know whether you're going to raise the money, partly because if you're out there on the fundraising beat, it means you're not earning money doing something else. And partly because it's just a philosophy that why bother, standing in the shower tearing up, 50 quid notes when you don't need to. I mean, ultimately it's about speaking to people and showing them something, mainly electronically, so it shouldn't be very much at all. Maybe £1,000, possibly £2,000, even for a really big investment raise, like we raised 2.75 million at the beginning of the year from 58 separate angels. So the actual costs weren't that much. Approaching investors is no different from any sales situation. It's selling, and I think the way I approach it is to again put myself in this person's shoes. They have a phone call coming in. They're right in the middle of writing a document deadline or whatever it is, and suddenly this phone call goes. And they may have absolutely no interest in speaking to you whatsoever. So my own point of view is to assume, to start off with, that I'm an annoying stranger. Wherever I possibly can, we'll have a sort of semi-warm introduction, which is somebody suggested I call, so that at least puts them on the right footing, rather than I'm just completely out of nowhere. And the second thing I say is, I'm calling about investing in a new whatever it is. Is this a good time, or is there a better time to speak? And that immediately lets them know that you respect their time, and the fact they may not be interesting to you. And sometimes they'll say, actually, the truth is, I'm just not investing at the moment, or I'm only investing in high tech, or I'm only doing this, that, and the other. And you go, okay, well that's fine. I'm sorry to have disturbed you. Or 95% of the time they go, yeah, wonderful. Let's talk now, or perhaps we can talk at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And so to me, it's really important just to make sure that you're not one of these sort of come across one of these people, sort of nutty people who are just so enthusiastic about the idea that they're just going to have 30 minutes of just blasting this amazing idea at somebody who may have absolutely no interest in it. So I think it's about the sort of the gentle and respectful opening up of a relationship and a conversation that will really sort of pay dividends as you build that relationship.